sits down with Star Wars Rebels Dave Filoni. We check out the latest costumes from Bonobos and much, much more. Now, from the Lucasfilm headquarters, it's the Star Wars Show.
Hello, I'm Peter Townley.
And I'm Andi Gutierrez. Welcome to the Star Wars Show, where we're going to be showing you the latest trailer for Rogue One. Oh, later this week. Sorry.
You will show us the trailer for Rogue One now.
That only works on the weak-minded, Peter.
That only works on the weak-minded, Peter.
Roll the news transition.
Roll the news transition.
If you've been dying to know what happens to the crew of the Ghost following the season finale of Rebels, the wait is almost over.
The third Thrawn-tastic season of Star Wars Rebels will begin Saturday, September 24th at 8:30 p.m. on Disney XD.
Which also means, for those of you subscribed to the channel, that yes, Rebels Recon will be returning September 24th as well. Just had to get a little plug in there for our other show.
Oh, for your other show. That you do without me. In movie news, a brand new Rogue One, a Star Wars story trailer will premiere tomorrow evening during the Olympics. I'm excited, Andy's excited, everybody is excited.
Finally, Star Wars The Force Awakens will be re-released this fall as a 3D collector's edition.
Rolling out beginning October 31st and arriving in the US and Canada on November 15th, the exclusive 4-disc collector's edition features brand new bonus materials like additional deleted scenes, new behind-the-scenes featurettes, new behind-the-scenes conversations with cast and crew, as well as a brand new, never-before-released audio commentary by director J.J. Abrams.
In addition to all of the new features, The Force Awakens 3D collector's edition will also include all of the classic bonus features from the original home release back in April.
And for more Star Wars happenings from around the galaxy, be sure to check out StarWars.com.
In 3D! Alright guys, a little Minoc told me that Oakland A's pitcher Sean Doolittle was coming by the office for a tour, so we decided to hit him with a little ambush trivia. Chief Wilson.
Chief Wilson. Character.
No, that was a baseball player.
Oh.
Addie Joss.
That's a baseball player.
Ransom Casterfo.
Oh my gosh. I want that to be a baseball player, but I think he's going to be a character in the novel.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time. It was nice to meet you.
Thank you guys.
Welcome back to the Star Wars Show. Today we are joined by a good friend of mine, Dave Filoni. How's it going?
Good. I've never been on this show like this before with the couch situation and the whole...
Right?
What would you like to discuss?
So, I mean, we've had you on before to talk about Rebels. Today I want to talk about Dave Filoni. I want to talk about you. Let's get to the heart of
Why do
this.
we want to talk about that?
I'm curious about how you started off with Star Wars, because I know you've been a fan for pretty much your entire life.
Yeah, there was no being a fan when I was a kid. You were just a kid, and we were lucky enough to grow up with Star Wars. We were just kids growing up in a Star Wars era.
How exactly did you get started in the animation industry?
My first big job was working as a layout artist in King of the Hill. 4 guys drinking beer next to a
Really?
fence
You
in
worked
Texas.
on King of the Hill? I didn't know that.
You didn't know that? I was able to do layout. I was able to assistant direct. I was able to do timing. Learned about design, talked to background artists. I was able to do a whole bunch of things that had I been an in-betweener at Disney, I never would have made it or known about those jobs. So my skills I learned out of school wasn't that what I like about this field isn't animating. I like telling the story.
Tell me about how you got involved with Lucasfilm.
I was on Airbender, and it was just the greatest experience. I worked with a lot of friends of mine, from Mike and Brian to Giancarlo. And Giancarlo's like, Filoni, what would you do? What would get you off of this show, Airbender? It's such a fun show. What would it take? I'm like, if George Lucas called and offered me a job, I'd go. And he and I it's never going to happen. So a week later, I get this phone call, and I answer it, and it's this woman. She's a producer for Lucasfilm Animation, and I'm thinking there's no Lucasfilm Animation. What is this? And she's like, we're hiring, we want to interview for supervisor director of Clone Wars TV series. I'm like, really? Didn't you just do that? And I said, look, I have to ask you a question. Who is this really? And she's like, excuse me? I'm like, is this the guys around the corner? Because this is just, it's kind of mean. And she's like, is this Dave Filoni? I'm like, yeah. Do you work on Airbender? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, well, you're the guy. And I'm thinking oh, wait a minute. This suddenly sounds really real. And my whole ambition was just to interview. I just wanted to meet George, so when I was in line at Revenge of the Sith, I can say, yeah, well, I met George Lucas. How cool is that? Because I'm like, there's no way I'm going to get this job. So I go in and I meet him, and we talk for about 20 minutes. It's a 20-minute meeting. And he looked at my portfolio, and he kind of went through it like this. And I thought, yeah, this is what I thought. Like, this guy's not, you're not going to impress him with your art. And then just remembering my manners when the time was over, I got up and I thought, well, I'm never going to see this guy again. So I shook his hand. I said, it was very nice to meet you. And he said, very nice to meet you. And I went back to the green room and I felt this great sense of relief. That's over, and that was cool. And you know what? He was a really nice guy. And then the door opens and Catherine sticks her head in and says, he likes you, you got the job. And I was like, what? And then she shut the door, and I remember my first thought was like, oh my gosh, these people have no idea what they're doing. Like, I thought, like, you're going to hire me for this job? You're crazy.
What was it like going from a fan to being a peer of George Lucas?
You know, at first it was incredibly intimidating, and I think he knew he was intimidating. But, you know, he respects hard work, and he respects creativity, and he wants to foster that and make that happen. And so, you know, we were always trying to surprise him and inspire him and make the episodes better than he thought they could be. And he's George Lucas. Sometimes what's surprising is just how normal a guy he could be.
So moving on to Rebels and the reintroduction of Thrawn, how do you approach bringing something like that in and giving people what they have been begging for and what you think and what they'll love without it being just fan service?
I've always leaned towards if we're going to create something, we should check and see if it existed already to the fans, because it has way more value if we bring that in. And It's like, why would I just replace it with something new? Yeah, I could create a new guy, sure. But what about Thrawn? Thrawn is great. Thrawn is a character we all know. Thrawn has a lot of credibility. So then you ask yourself, is it right to use him? And can we use him in a way that's similar to the books? I think we're going in a really great place in Rebels, and it's a huge team effort. So I've been lucky to be here at this time with so many talented people. And, you know, we have this show. We didn't have this before at Lucasfilm. And so this is really exciting.
I do want to take a second to thank you so much for, like, supporting our little team and what we do.
Of course. My gosh. Well, you guys report on the show. Of course I have to.
So stick around. There will be more Star Wars show in just a minute.
More? You said it was too long already.
Well, we're going to cut you down.
Oh.
So we just got a special delivery, and it's from a Novos.
What do you say we crack these babies open and slip into something a little more Star Wars?
Novos specializes in fully licensed, high-quality costume replicas. The Novos Star Wars costumes are as close as you can get to the real thing.
So you come to Jakku often?
The Star Wars The Force Awakens Rey Jakku premiere costume. The dress is made of viscose gauze, and the shirt is made of a cotton lycra. The wristlet and belt are made of genuine leather.
You finally have an outfit to go with your staff.
I
know. Can I see it now?
No.
The First Order premiere line costume ensemble. Body armor pieces. They are made with a white ABS plastic. Undersuit is 2 pieces with mock turtleneck. And the boots are made of genuine leather.
This is so cool.
Do you feel ready to make best friends with a droid and beat some dudes up in the desert?
I could take on the whole First Order myself.
Do you want to check out the helmet? I'll just hold the staff for you real quick.
Totally.
Sucker.
You will return my staff and leave this room with the door open.
I'll return your staff and leave this room with the door open.
And you'll get me a sandwich.
And I'll get you a sandwich. That's a really great interview with Dave. It's so insightful.
He is so much fun to talk to, and you only saw like a tiny, tiny portion of it. The extended interview will be on our channel later this week. But let's move on to more pressing issues, like naming the Rancor from last week's episode.
Yes, after a deluge of great suggestions like Bob, Ricky the Rancor, Rancor McRancorface, Weird Al Rancorvic, Fluffy Cuddles, even a couple of Kitsters, the creator has landed on a clear winner.
The Rancor's new name is Randy the Rancor, submitted by Matthew D. Groves on Twitter.
As for this week, we want to see your reactions to the new Rogue One trailer. It can be a video, a Vine, a tweet, an Instagram post, Facebook Live, whatever you want. Just make sure to put hashtag Rogue Reactions in the title, and we will feature our favorites on the show next week.
Also, make sure to check out our brand new series, The Star Wars After Show, presented by Verizon, where myself and a panel of other Lucasfilm employees will gather around to talk more in depth about all the Star Wars we covered in the show today.
Who knows, maybe even some of your comments and questions about this week's episode will be featured. You can check it out this Thursday and every Thursday only on youtube.com/Verizon.
Finally, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Google+, like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on Vine, and download the Star Wars app.
You got them all.
Yes!
Thanks for watching.